Hello and welcome to the instructional video on how to register for SEAACT Science and Engineering Fair. First, you need to register your project. We've been doing this for quite some time now, and you see that the button hasn't changed. It's on the right-hand corner here where you get to click and enter your personal and project details. Now, once you've submitted your details, you get an e-ticket. The e-ticket is the same as it has always been, where your personal details appear and it all should be correct. But most importantly, it does generate a number. That number is your e-ticket number. I'm going to write down that number because that's going to become important to me in a moment. So my number is 442, and that's my project number. Now you're welcome to print this page, and here there's a link to print this page. That's quite handy if you need to staple this to a hand-delivered project, if you're doing a paper-based one. If you're not going to hand it in in person, just electronically, then you don't need to print it, but do write down your e-ticket number so you know which project number is yours. The next here are links to the Google Classroom. Of course, you can't get into the Google Classroom unless you have a code. So here we have generated a classroom code, and I'm going to write that down because that's quite important to me so that I have permission to enter my project. So the digits is SNLOX3B, and I have written that down. Now, before I go ahead and get into the Google Classroom, you have a few more steps before you proceed to that. So let me go to the main page, and just going a bit further down, there's a few instructional points here, and I wanted to point out. Step 1, you must first register your project, and we've already done that electronically, where it has our personal details and the e-ticket number was generated. Number 2, it says, in order to proceed with handing in your project electronically, you must have a Gmail account or a school EDU account. So generally our students can get into the Google Classroom or Google Drive quite easily with their EDU email accounts. Otherwise, you can generate your own Gmail account, and you can do that by going straight into Google and requesting a Gmail account, and that's quite easy to do. So that is a second step to start submitting a project in the Google Classroom. The third point is quite important, is what to name your file. So now that you've done all your work, you now need to make sure your file is recognizable and that it doesn't get lost. So it should have your name, your school name, and your e-ticket number if you can recall what it is. And if you did your project as a classroom, you can have the teacher name and the school name, and again, that e-ticket number. So I've already gone ahead and renamed my file before I get ready to submit it. It has the right details. Now let's go into the Google Classroom. We're going to have to click here to load up the Google Classroom where we will be asked to enter this code. So by clicking on there, let me see what happens. I am now given permission to log in to the Google Classroom, and it's empty. There is no classroom that says Science Fair because we haven't added it yet. So here you are directed to click on the plus button where it says you can join that classroom. So let's join the Science Fair classroom. And now it's asking for the code. And if you can recall, it's SNLOX3B. And now I can click on the join button where I will now have permission to upload my project. Now here you cannot see other people's projects. You cannot delete other people's projects. It is only a place for you to post and edit your own work. Now you will see that you have 4 categories. You need to choose the right level or age category for yourself, from primary, high school, early childhood, and special education. Now my project is special education, so I'll go ahead and click on that link. And now you can submit your project. Now it looks like I've already submitted it once, but I can unsubmit it if I need to, supposing I need to edit it and make some changes. But whatever the case, you do need to add your project. So here you're going to add it. Now I did not put it in my Google Drive. I do still have it on my computer desktop, and I will browse and look for that file. And let's upload it. And I can drag it. That's quite handy. If I just minimize my screen, I should be able to find it on my messy desktop, already renamed with all of my project details. And my e-ticket number is also visible, so the judges can track my file. And now it's saying, do you want to turn it in? I think I'm sure I want to turn it in. And I've already turned in 2 of them, but here we go. It's got my name, school name, and my e-ticket number. And let's turn that in. So now you've just done the only steps that's needed. Now it's up to the judges to have a read and enjoy the work that you've been working on. And you have up until September the 11th at midnight to hand in your digital submission. Otherwise, you can hand it in person at Alfred Deakin High School. Thank you.